Good morning, hope you're well. Welcome to another video. As you can see, I'm sure, next to the canal. This is the closed section of canal. It's currently a broken lock a bit further down. This is a section I fished in the last video, if you saw that. If not, just briefly put you in the picture. There's a broken lock, as I mentioned, down there, which means there's no boats passing through this section, which means I can come out after the school run, get a bit of peace to do a bit of waggler fishing. By peace, I mean there's not boats chugging up and down and stirring it up. It's only about 3.5 foot deep, so every time a boat goes through, all your bait goes everywhere. It's really ruins your swim. So what I've done today is come to an area. I've not actually fished this particular stretch before. What I'm going to do is drop a bit of bait in here, some nice reeds on the other side. Just down here, I've actually seen some fish. I think they're spawning. They're well down that way, perhaps 40 metres or so on the inside. But there's clearly some fish in this particular little stretch. So I just thought I'd put a bit of bait in here, and then we'll go and have a wander off to a stretch I have fished before. We'll see if we can do anything up there. It's a bit windy today, so I think we may struggle up there. We may not be able to go up there, so we might be better in this sort of slightly more secluded area. Right, that's probably enough waffle, isn't it? As I say, we're going to do some waggler fishing. I'll run you through the gear as and when I get it out. But for now, we'll just drop a bit of bait in over by these reeds, and then we'll get off a little bit further up. The grain bait I've got is just some liquidised bread with some Census gross gardons mixed in with it. Lovely sort of chocolatey, biscuity sort of smell. What I'm going to do is put a bit in over there, like that. What we'll do is we'll find a stick or something, mark this particular place so we know that we've put some bait in there. We've got some bread and some maggots to use today, so we'll flick a handful of maggots in as well. Once again, I've forgotten to bring my catapult. There you go. Can just about throw them far enough. Right, let's say we'll get off a bit further up to a place I've fished occasionally in the past. We'll have a go up there, and then we'll perhaps have a move around, just depending how things are. But this is sort of on the way back to the car, so we can always drop in here for half an hour or so, just see if anything's got over that bait. Right, let's crack on. So we're here, as you can probably see, a bit of a wider area of canal here. Only runs sort of 30-40 metres, where it's wider. We've got all these lovely reeds growing out there, I'm sure you can see. So what I'm going to do, I think, I've brought a couple of rods with me today. I've got the Waggler rod, which is my Dower Matchman pellet wag. I've got a Drake Waggler on there and 125M close face reel on there. This is the one supplied by Stuart at Artisan Angling. And I'm going to fish, I think, a feeder, a tiny little feeder, just on a running ledger rig on my Drennan ultralight mini feeder rod. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to fish a float to these reeds that are sticking out in the water over here. We'll perhaps put a feeder a bit further over, getting over towards the other side. There's some more reeds over there, I'm sure you can see. Hedge our bets a little bit, just see what turns up. Hopefully some bream, hopefully some hybrids, hopefully some roach, who knows. There's lots of bubbles coming up, so that's positive. Right, that's the plan. Let's get cracking, shall we? We haven't got too long today. Probably going to give it maybe 3 hours. It's about 9:30, 10 now. We'll have perhaps 3 hours at it. It'd be nice to have half an hour at least down there where we've just baited. So we'll give it a couple of hours here, perhaps. Well, certainly an hour. If we're not doing anything after an hour, I think we'll have a move. So a very standard sort of waggler setup here. We've not got any tow to contend with because, as I say, the canal it's actually broken at the moment. No boats can get up this way, which is fantastic. It's meant the canal is cleared somewhat. Just looks absolutely lovely. As I say, we'll deploy the feeder rod to our left so that the tip is in my peripheral vision. I'm just going to get a tiny little feeder on there. We'll have this as a bit of a sleeper rod. We'll fill it with ground bait and have a couple of maggots on to start with. There we go. No, it's not very deep over there. Right, that can be looking after itself. I'll get this rod out in front of us over there. It's a little bit of tow on the canal, just a tiny bit. So if this starts wandering about this this setup, we'll know we need to deepen up a little bit. At the moment I'm fishing just over depth, or I think I am anyway. Be interesting to see if the float starts moving about, if there's anything on the feed. It does need shotting down a bit, that float. But yeah, hopefully we can have a few fish. That's landing that up. Be a good start, wouldn't it? Could be that we struggle a bit today, and maybe some fish still off spawning. And so I'm hearing from friends that there's a lot of spawning going on in the area, and we've seen a little bit this morning on the way up. I think it's mostly bream, and they do have quite a broad window of when they spawn. Alright, that was definitely a liner. Well, there's some fish about. Float's just done that. It's a great sign. Just sitting here thinking, what is going on? Well, there's definitely some fish down there. Alright. Oh, go on. Dipped, I think that's a bite. Dipped a couple of times and then started to go away. Oh, well, I think that was a bite. Should mention I've just got a size 16 on here. A couple of maggots. A red and a white. The white one disappeared that time. So I'm pretty sure that was a bite. What I've actually done, just to counteract the tiny little bit of tow there is I've just put one of the shot on the bottom. Oh, right, that's a bite. I was going to say, it's gone straight away. Well, perhaps we should fish on the drop. Feels a bit roachy. Took that on the drop. What's that? It's a little hybrid, I think. Well, first fish, cracking. Certainly not a monster. It certainly is a little hybrid. Yeah, hybrid. There's a funny sort of ruddy look to them. Mostly bream, but there's a bit of roach in there. Cracking. Well, we're off the mark. It's a good start. As I say, that took that on the drop, so I'm thinking now, perhaps we'll fish on the drop. Just pull these shot about a bit so that the bait just sinks nice and slowly. As I say, that one definitely took it on the drop. Kind of doesn't figure in my thinking generally when I'm fishing this canal, because it's normally so coloured. Normally you can see about that far into it, even first thing in the morning when it's had overnight to settle. I mean, this canal hasn't seen a boat for couple of weeks, and you can still only see about that far into it. But just perhaps have a slow sinking bait. There you go, that's worked. Well, that's a nice roach. Wonderful. Well, that worked like a charm. Gosh, wolf that down. That's cracking. We'll just keep these fish in this net, just in the landing net. We don't want them going back out there and scaring everything off. Oh, that was brilliant. Just absolutely worked like a charm. All right. I was going to say, floats off down the canal. It's quite bizarre. It just lifted and then just stayed lifted. Well, we've come out. I'm getting a few bites. Very, very nice sat here. That's a bite. Got to be. Yeah, there we go. This is no roach, or if it is, it's a massive one. Wonderful. Well, this has been very productive at the moment. Looks like a bream. It was a hybrid for a minute, the way it was going. Come on. Got it. There we go. Cracking. This one's certainly not spawning at the moment. Definitely a male. He's got some tubercles. Oh, the roach has got out. As I say, I have got a hole in this net. The roach has let itself out. As I say, hopefully it doesn't go and scare all his mates off. Very, very good escape artists in my experience, roach. Right, that was a bite, wasn't it? Absolute thump on there. Well, clearly some fish around. Obviously not having that on my lap, not holding on to it. We're sort of relying on the fish sort of hooking themselves against the top of the rod, really, against the quiver tip. Would possibly have been better with a method on there, method feeder. It was a bit of an impromptu session this morning. I just thought, yeah, weather looks good, let's go. I didn't really set anything up. Just grabbed what I had in the car. Got certainly some fish here now. Is that going? Is it not going? It is going. God blimey, it's off. There's a better fish. A little bit better anyway. Come on. Well, this is thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyable. Beautiful bronze. Bronze bream. Beautiful bronze bream. A cracking colour. They've got a lovely colour since this canal has stopped being used. Absolutely wonderful. Another male. He's got these tubercles on his head. There we go. Cracking, as I say, another male. The little fish have all escaped. No monsters at all. I had them up to £4 from this particular swim. Not that I fish it too often. Perhaps a couple of times every close season. That's about all. Never seen the reeds this far out in the canal either. I don't usually grow that far out. It's just such a novelty on this canal to be able to go out this time of day and not be absolutely battered by boats. You know, you'd have a boat going past this time of year, perhaps certainly every 5 minutes. You can't beat reeds. Fish absolutely love them. All year round, but especially when they're species that spawn in the reeds. I don't know if that's the case with bream, but I assume so, the way they were knocking them about a few minutes ago. I assume it's bream that's spawning as well, but these two fellas in here, and they are males, they're losing their tubercles. They've certainly had some, but they're certainly dropping off. That's going, I think. Yes. Certainly dropping off them. God, this feels a better fish. Blimey. God, bending this rod. Blimey. Well, he ain't massive, but he's certainly a better fish. Oh, it's a cracker. Well, we're on the bream today. Come on. Oh, it's a lovely fish. Bit beaten up, but that's a lovely fish. That's absolutely cracker. There we go. That's a proper one. She's been in the wars by the looks of it. And that's cracking. I'm not going to weigh her. She's certainly not £4. I'm had up to 4 from here. But yeah, proper one. Oh, absolutely slimed me to oblivion. Well, I'm loving this. I mean, I think we've only been fishing about half an hour. More splashing up there. Right. I was going to say, this float's going sideways. God blimey. What a session this is turning into. I mean, just to put it in perspective, when it's tough here, one bite is a good, it's a good result. It can be very, very tricky. The rig's working well. Nicking all these just in the corner of the mouth. Cracking. Another lovely fish. Wonderful. Well, this is great. If we keep catching, we'll have to release these fish. I'm not going to keep them in there for too long, or too many of them. Oh, slimy mess. Saw that on the camera. It's like a dolphin. It was a bream. Doing a good impression of a dolphin. As I mentioned before, I absolutely love using a closed face reel for float fishing. So easy to use. And I really love these Dower 125s. That's how I got friendly with Stuart from Artisan Angling. Stuart rebuilds 125s, and we got chatting about them. And I've sent him a couple off of mine actually off to be rebuilt, and this one that he sent me was actually rebuilt with all new parts. And Stuart's able to rebuild brand new, effectively brand new 125s. He has all new parts, which he uses to build them. Wonderful. I love this. Absolutely love it. I can't wait to get it down the wide. Do a bit of barbel fishing with it as well. There we go. Yeah, really, really looking forward to get back on the rivers with it. If you are interested, I'll link you in up there to Stuart's website. He's got all the information on his website about these reels, and you can rebuild yours, or like I say, he can sell you a brand new one, which even Dower can't. Right, let's concentrate on getting this fish in. Is this a supercharged bream or is it a hybrid? I think it's a supercharged bream. God, we're having a net full. Should have bought the keep net, but to be honest, I would never bring the keep net to this canal. Never catching a fish. But today, blimey, absolute net full, look. This is wonderful. Very, very feisty. Right, I'm doing this backwards. I've just got them in this grass down here so they're not going to hurt themselves. Morning. There we are, guys. How's about that? Wonderful. CRT volunteer has just come past, and he was asking me how I liked it with no boats moving. I said, oh, mate, it's absolutely wonderful. It is so much better than when the boats move. He said, yeah, it's cleared a lot, hasn't it? I said, yeah. I said, it's like a different canal. He said, well, unfortunately for you, he said that the new lock is being made in the workshop. He said they're thinking of about the 18th, starting on it. A couple of days to make it. I said, yeah, I was actually thinking of nipping to the workshop and starting a fire. There's plenty of wood in there, clearly. Try and stop them making this lock. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be mended. I mean, you know, there's no surprise that they want to get it mended very quickly. I mean, this is a very, very busy route generally into Stratford. And at the moment, it's non-existent. I say I'm going to, if we catch another one, I'll put these fish back. I'll walk along the bank somewhere, stick them back. It's one of those days, rare days, which happens about once every 3 seasons, where you need a keep net. Ooh, that's frustrating. Oh. That was a lovely bite, that was. Just dip, dip, way it went. Felt a decent fish as well, just bumped it. I'd normally be a bit concerned about that, but I think they're having it so much today. I don't have to really worry. Right, I was going to bite then, I dropped. I managed to put the ground bait straight on top of the float. Oh dear. Just as I was drew back the float and popped out of the water and was doing this, I landed the ground bait straight on top of it and missed the bite. Brilliant. Oh dear, I'd be absolutely mortified if I wasn't getting plenty of bites. There we go. There we go. That's another good fish. Wow. I'm bending this rod. Oh, I've given up. Another cracker. Wow. Wow. Right, I'm going to call that a net full. That's think they need putting back. Right, which one have we just had? Which one's attached to the hook? Right, there we are. That's number 7 of the decent sized fish. I'm going to go and return them up there. As you can see, we've got a good net full there. So I'm going to go and put them back up here. So that's a fish returned. Right, oh, this is nice. A little bit of chop, look. Absolutely wonderful. That's what we want. As I say, make it a lot easier, a lot easier to see this float. Breaks up the reflection. We've still only been fishing about an hour and a half. As I say, fishing at this time of the day in this canal will be, I was going to say impossible, it wouldn't be impossible, of course you could fish, but you'd never be able to get that area going, never get a chance to get an area of bait going, because every 5 minutes a boat comes through, churns the place to oblivion, big clouds of mud come up off the bottom, and obviously all your bait goes everywhere. And yeah, okay, you can start again, but when they're going fast every 5 minutes, you just can't get anything going at all. So this is really, I was going to say once in a lifetime, yeah, it has been. I've never known it be closed before, this bit of canal. No larger hybrids yet, which I'm a bit surprised about. I had a couple of much smaller ones, but you know, you can get some 2-3 pound in here. But yeah, no signs of yet. Just contemplating what to do actually, because obviously we could sit here all day, I'm sure, and catch bream from the looks of it. But it'd be nice to fish a couple of different spots. I think I'm going to put this this feeder rod away. It's not really doing much, and to be honest, we're catching plenty with the float, so we don't really need it today. As you can probably see, I've set myself up so that when the rod's on my knee, the tip is just under the water, so I can sink the line, get it away from all this rubbish that's on the top of the canal. As you can see, all bits of leaf and blossom and all sorts of stuff. There we go. I can sink the line, have it underneath the water. But I haven't got it too far under the water because I don't want to be striking and picking up 2 foot of rod out of the water, slowing it down. Well, it's bream. We don't call it Bream Bay for nothing. Me and a few mates nickname this place Bream Bay. You do catch roach and hybrids here, but we do call it Bream Bay. God, this one's feisty. They grabbed that on the way down. Calm down. Male, of course it's feisty. That fooled you, didn't it? There we go. Wonderful. They just lie there, don't they, bream, when you put them in a net? Play dead. Come on. Put yourself out. There we go. Yeah, I've just got, as I was saying, I've just got a couple of inches of the rod under the water. Perhaps the top 2 rings, something like that. I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to pick too much of the rod up out of the water when I strike. But I just want the line sunk from the rod tip to the bottom of the float, because obviously the float's fished bottom end only. All the lines about that far under the water, out of all this crud. This is what you can't achieve when the boats are moving. You cannot achieve this, getting one spot really rocking. Hence having to get up at sort of 4 o'clock in the morning to have 2 or 3 hours before the boats start moving. But even that's very frustrating. You get up at literally 4 o'clock in the morning. You might get 2 hours in, then some boat has decided that they want to get somewhere at 6 o'clock in the morning. You end up having 2 hours at it. That's got to be a bite. The float shot out of the water. Right out of the water. I was expecting it to go away again as it sank, but it didn't. I'm holding off a bit on a lot of these bites because they do seem like liners. That's not a liner. I think we're actually catching on the drop now. Oh, what's this? It's just trudging. Not fighting like a bream. I wonder if it's a hybrid. They seem to be going crazy enough to be a hybrid though. Jumping out over there. There's clearly a lot of fish in this area today. Come on. Not going crazy because I've only got a 2.5 pound bottom on. I think it is just a turbocharged bream. This says bream don't fight. Come on. God, he's going crazy. He's a bream as well. Oh, it doesn't look like a hybrid, but he's absolutely nuts. Got him. Voice to male, that's why. Still going crazy, look. Fab. Right. Loving this, absolutely loving it. I must admit, I do enjoy sort of working a swim like this, getting it going. Bit like you would in a match. Well, I have no interest whatsoever in match fishing, I have to say. But, just building a swim. I mean, it's great to obviously drop on fish and use your watercraft to just find where the fish are. I do also find something very satisfying in building a swim. It's the art of feeding, really. Not too much, not too little. Just keep it going in. When you're bream fishing, always take it off. Right, as I say, I fancy a bit of a move, but I don't really want to move off fish. I think what I'm going to do is give it maybe another sort of 20 minutes here. What time it is. We've had it just about an hour and 3/4, something like that, and we've had what, 8 bream now, some smaller stuff. Getting a bite now. That's a bite, yeah. So I think, no, I think we've had up this one. Have we, or is he wrapped up? I was going to say, we'll perhaps have a couple of more fish. I don't think he's foul hooked. I don't know what links up. No, he's just wrapped up. I thought it was foul hooked there for a minute. Yeah, I was just thinking I might have another couple of decent sized fish and then perhaps have a move for the last hour. Yep, he is hooked in the right bit. So yeah, I reckon we'll give it perhaps 15 minutes or a couple of more nice fish. He's a tiddler. We won't call him a nice fish. We'll call him a reasonable fish. Bit daft maybe moving off fish, but without being disparaging, they are all bream. Be nice to have a few different species. Like I say, we have had a couple of little roach and a little or 2 little hybrids as well, perhaps 3. But it'd be nice to perhaps catch some roach or something else. I think with the bream being in here now, I don't think anything else is going to get a look in, except maybe hybrids. We've got to have a go at that spot we baited, haven't we? Definitely need to go and have a go in there. God, this float is getting knocked all over the place. It's just not settling. There's so many fish here now. I don't know, perhaps I'll be stupid to move. Well, I'm not sure if you can make out that float. It is quite small and delicate, but there we go. It's, I was going to say, it's just going all over the place. It was just moving like that. It'd dip, it'd come up, moving again. So, blimey. There are some fish here. Like I say, I do fancy a move, but also I think it would be very silly. Because action like this does not happen on this canal very often. In fact, it's only ever happened once before like this, many, many years ago. I was fishing my eldest daughter, who is now 18, and she was about 10 at the time, so that's how long ago it was. Probably one of the first years I fished the canals and did the videos. That's a nice fish. So yeah, probably 7 years ago, 8 years ago, something like that. That's a really nice fish, that is. Might be the biggest one of the day, perhaps. I think that is in beautiful condition as well. Oh, how can I move when there's fish like this in the swim? I mean, look at that, absolutely beautiful. Beautiful bream. That's £3 all day long. Absolutely wonderful. Well, that's 10. 10 decent fish and some change as well. Some smaller ones. Yeah, perhaps I will be a bit silly to move. We'll give it a bit longer anyway. Hopefully, I say this slightly tongue-in-cheek, but hopefully it'll go a bit quiet here and that'll make me move. Perhaps we'll fish hard here for maybe another half an hour or so. Leave ourselves half an hour to go and try that other spot. I feel like a right pillock if we leave fish here and go and try that other spot and we don't catch anything. Which is quite likely, to be honest. Still fishing a sort of slow sinking bait. I'm getting the odd bite on the drop, but mostly after it's settled. Because I am getting the odd bite on the drop, that's why I'm still fishing on the drop, if you like. Still fishing a relatively slow sinking bait. I've got a couple of maggots on, that's all. I've tried bread, but they don't really seem interested. Alright. Oh, hello. Blimey. This has got to be a hybrid. It's gone. It's down there. Shot off down there. Feels a reasonable fish. Looks like a bream. No, just a bionic bream. This is absolutely wonderful fishing. Another cracking fish. There we go, another cracking fish. Another fish that's best part of £3, certainly £2.5. Absolutely wonderful, and that's number 12 of the decent fish. Wow, what a session. Well, it certainly has gone quiet. Which, in a sort of perverse way, I was kind of hoping for. Sort of forced my hand a little bit. Well, that's been absolutely cracking for a couple of hours to have a dozen fish in a couple of hours. Dozen decent fish, and then we've had probably half dozen, 8 sort of smaller fish as well. But it's certainly gone quiet now. As I say, the float was getting battered around. It was doing this, and it would suddenly go like that, and then it's doing nothing now. Absolutely nothing. Right, these fish are winding each other up in here. They're going crazy, as you can probably hear. So I'm going to go and let them go. I'm thinking of a move shortly anyway, but we've had another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in there. As you can see, some lovely fish as well. Cracking. Right, we'll get them back up here and we'll give it another 5 minutes there. Yeah, let's go. There's nothing happening here, he says, pulling up half the bottom. Yeah, there's nothing happening here now. It's gone very quiet. Maybe just the time of day, you know, late morning now. I think probably approaching midday. Have a check. Oh, I lost track of time completely though. Yeah, it's gone midday, just gone midday, so definitely time for a move. Well, that's been wonderful there. That's been absolutely cracking. Better than I could possibly have expected. So whatever else we catch now is a bonus. Right, let's have a quick little pack down and we'll get down there. We'll make this the last spot. As you can see, we've got a bit of oxygenated water over there, just from that lock bypass. Just wondering if perhaps we can drop on any fish in here. We'll perhaps put a bit of bait in, sort of there, just a little bit. See if we can get a spot going. We'll give it perhaps 20 minutes in here, something like that. Let's put a few maggots in as well. There we go, we're in. Finally. Stuck a bit. Been running the float around in here. It's quite tricky. Quite tricky running about in here because you can't really tell what's a bite and what isn't. I think it's another bream. Bream day today. Or is it perhaps a hybrid? No, I think it's a bream. Cracking. Wonderful. Well, there he is. I thought they might be hanging around in this oxygenated water. We'll get him in the edge for 5. I really am only going to give it 5 minutes, so another 5. So it took quite a long time to get a bite in here, maybe. Wow, a long time, perhaps 20 minutes, something like that. So what a cracking session that was. I mean, obviously I'm not going to put all the fish in. We've had stacks and stacks of fish from that first swim. These second 2 swims have been more like what this canal usually fishes like, but as I say, with the boats not moving, it enables me to get out after I've done the school run and come and have a few hours down here without getting the boats wrecking the swim for me. Now, I'm out again later on in the week, most probably, weather dependent. We'll have to just check the weather, but I've got something slightly different planned for the next session, so I'll keep that for the next session. I'll keep that as a nice surprise, but for now, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. Tight lines, enjoy your own angling. Many thanks to the channel patrons for your wonderful support, and I'll see you again very soon.